Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, we got a video that's gonna bring the straight up pain, man. It's gonna bring up so many bad memories, at least one bad memory for every single NBA team slash franchise slash fan of those teams out there, man. We got every NBA team's worst free agent signing of the past decade. So for me personally, like the past decade, I obviously think of like Josh Smith, but even like a few years before that, so it's not going to be included in this video. I still remember the offseason that the Pistons signed Ben Gordon and Charlie Villanueva. That offseason, there was not a ton of free agents going on. It was kind of like one of those things where it's just like, well, we got the money, might as well spend it now, where they could have waited till the next offseason. And I think that's when it was like LeBron and all those guys were all free agents. Not that any of those guys went to Detroit, but then again, we're playing with Rip and Rasheed Wallace and all those guys. Actually, at that point, man, I'm pretty sure most of the team was gone at that point. But or we could have went for like Amari Stoudemire. That was pretty painful, guys. But here we go, man. Every NBA team's worst free agent signing of the past decade. If you don't mind dropping that like and, of course, subscribing if you're new to the channel. If you want to give me your predictions before I even go through this on who you think it's going to be for your team, let me know, guys. I mean, obviously, if you're the Brooklyn Nets fans, then, well, we got a pretty good general freaking idea right there, man. Okay, here we go. First one we have is the Atlanta Hawks with Joe Johnson. So he signed a 6-year, $124 million contract, man. Spent 2 years with the team. Yeah, I mean, I will say, in all due respect, like, I feel like Joe Johnson is actually a pretty underrated player as we look back at his career and stuff like that. I don't know, man. I feel like he was just, like, so much fun to watch. His isolation game, him ISO Joe was his name and everything like that. Him on that team with, like, Josh Smith back in the day, it was a lot of fun to watch. The man definitely got himself a nice payday. You can't blame him for that. But it might have been a little bit too late in his career where, of course, you get those contracts where towards the tail end, it's like, oh, my God, man. Like, we're still paying this guy this much money? Next up, we got Gordon Hayward, Boston Celtics. I completely disagree with this. At the time, Gordon Hayward was, he left the Utah Jazz. He was an all-star on that team, like a guaranteed 20 points per game. Went to the Boston Celtics. That was a big-time move. Then he had himself a horrible injury. The fact of the matter is that, if he never had that injury, he would have continued being an all-star. Now you look back at it, is it still a bad contract? Well, you can't really blame the injury on the contract, right? Like, at the time, it was a smart move. And Gordon Hayward's still balling out. So, yeah, if this is the worst the Celtics got in the past 10 years, they are in a pretty solid situation, man. I guess luckily they didn't lock up Al Horford for like a 4-year, $100 million contract like some other teams out there. Or I guess in hindsight, maybe it's good they didn't keep Isaiah Thomas and sign him to a max contract because that could have been horrible also. So, yeah, definitely not bad, all things considered. Next up, we got the Brooklyn Nets with D. Will. It was a 5-year, $99 million contract. Bro, just give him the extra million at that point. Give him the extra 1.2. He was there for about 3 years. And, yeah, I remember he had a lot of injury issues. I think it was his wrist or something like that was a big-time issue. But, I mean, once again, it's a case where I believe they had a new owner of the team, and he was trying to make a big-time splash, getting D. Will, Joe Johnson, got the 2 guys out from the Boston Celtics and stuff, and yes, it definitely did not work out, but that was the greatest super team to never be super. Well, you got that one, then of course you got the one where Dwight and Steve Nash was with Pau Gasol and Kobe on the Lakers, but yeah, man, it's neither here nor there. Yeah, this definitely did not work out for them. Really, ever since D. Will left the Utah Jazz, he was just never really the same player. Okay, next up we got Tyrese Thomas to the Charlotte Hornets. Oh my God, man, you got a payday? Well, I guess it was the Charlotte Bobcats at the time. 5 years, $40 million. 3 years, $40 million when he was with the team, and so he must have got bought out for the last 2 years or whatever. I mean, Tyrese was actually a really nice player. I feel like he would have actually worked out better in this NBA back than he did back in the day, assuming he could have developed a three-point shot. He could have been like an athletic 3-and-D type of player, but I loved him. I think it was on Florida he was at, right? He went to Florida, and I remember he was on the Chicago Bulls for a bit, I think, but I liked him. It's just, yeah, he never really turned into a great NBA player. I was fantastic with him in 2K, though, so I got that going for me. Wow, they actually gave it to him over Nicholas Batum's 5-year deal. I would say Batum. Next up, we got Chicago Bulls, Dwayne Wade, 2-year, $47 million contract. Once again, it's a lot of money, but it was still cool to see. Like, yes, it didn't lead to anything, but I mean, y'all got to watch Dwayne Wade for a season. Like, that's a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying, man? So, yeah, I mean, from a contract standpoint, not great. What was Carlos Boozer's contract? Because I don't think he was spectacular on the team, was he? Or didn't they also have Omer Asik? I think Asik signed his with the Hornets / Pelicans, and then he was traded to the Bulls. Or it might have been vice versa. I think he was on the Bulls first, and then went to that team. So, yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is Dwayne Wade. So, if that's your worst contract, once again, not that big a deal. Next up, we got J.R. Smith with the Cleveland Cavaliers, a 4-year, $57 million deal. Damn, bro. Bro, he even seemed shocked by it. Like, at that moment right there, he was probably looking at his agent. He was probably doing, like, sign language, like, hey, yo, hey, JR, bro, I just got you $57 million. And man, he's like, what? And then he forgot how much time was on the shot clock and blew the game. That's probably how that moment happened, right? No, I was thinking it was before that. The contract happened, obviously. Okay, next up we got Brendan Haywood. I remember this guy mainly from the Washington Wizards, right? Yeah, he was on the Wizards. He was their center for a very long time with Antoine Jameson. I think Eton Thomas was the backup. I don't even remember. Yeah, because I remember Eric Dampier on the Dallas Mavericks mostly, so I don't remember Brendan Haywood even on this team. 6 years, $55 million? For what? Yo, Mark Cuban, I know you're a finance guy. I know you're, well, not really a finance guy. You're a business guy. Yikes. Okay, moving on. We got Al Harrington of the Denver Nuggets. I remember those days. I remember on Denver. I think he played for the Pacers for a bit too. 5-year, $34 million. Spent 2 years there. Cost per win share $2.3 million. Okay, yeah. I mean, he was definitely like a volume, kind of a bit of an inefficient scorer. It's kind of what he did out there. He just kind of shot a lot. Once again, another guy that would have worked out perfectly in today's NBA. Next up, we got Sorry, had to restart the system there for a second, man. Yeah, I knew this was going to be on here. We just got done paying this man. We literally had to, like, waive, stretch, amnesty his contract. And we paid him like $5 million for like 20 billion years, bro. Yeah, my God. I have flashbacks to a front court where everybody was switching to, like, you know, that more small ball that you kind of see now, more of like the stretch on the floor thing. And here are the Pistons running Josh Smith at the 3 with Greg Monroe at the 4 and Andre Drummond at the 5. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on from this. I'm not gonna pay attention to Josh Smith on the Pistons ever again. Which is really sad too, because there was a time where I actually wanted him on the Pistons. It was before this, though. Like, early on, when he was, like, 24, there was talks about him going to the team or something like that. And him at the 4 spot with Drummond, yeah, still would have been trash. But, maybe less trash than him playing the 3 spot. Next up, we got Iguodala to the Golden State Warriors, 2017. 3 years, $48 million. I mean, the guy literally had a Finals MVP. But then again, you know, you shouldn't get a new contract based off of what you did. It's what you can do, in my opinion, right? Because sometimes we see that where a guy gets paid, but then it's like they're kind of starting to fall off a bit. So it's like, well, you already got a big contract based on what you did before. So I don't know, man. It's kind of an iffy situation. Yeah, okay, here we go. Houston Rockets, Chris Paul. Yeah, obviously this one's been atrocious, but at the same time, shout out to Chris Paul for not just giving up on basketball. He was an all-star this season on the OKC Thunder, of course. So yeah, he's still, like, he's obviously doesn't deserve that much money based off his style of play over the past few seasons. But, like, it's better than him getting locked into, like, a 4-year, $30 million deal. Like, I would have felt bad for him at that point. So, shout out to CP3 for getting that bag out there, man. Yeah, Ryan Anderson's $80 million. Sign me up for that one over Chris Paul. Next up, we got Monte Ellis of Indiana Pacers. 4-year, $44 million. Yeah, once he left the Warriors and, Steph Curry was kind of chosen over him, he kind of fell off. I think he had some injuries and stuff like that, too. But, I don't know, man. Monte Ellis, he was awesome in 2K. Like, literally, you could, like, make it so he would just sprint down the court every single time. He had, like, a 99 speed, and you would score every single time. Like, it was a cheat code, man. But as far as a basketball player, a little inefficient. By a little, I mean quite a lot. Fell in love with, like, the mid-range game and stuff like that. Not absolutely great. All right, next we got Spencer Hawes for the Clippers. I remember him on the Sacramento Kings. Was actually a bit of a kind of like a stretch big with a little bit of defense out there. He was like a less athletic Miles Turner. Could shoot and just play some defense. So, 4 years, $23 million. Okay, that's not that bad for the Clippers. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, it's not great, but whatever. Next, oh yes, Luol Deng of the Lakers, guys. I literally think that in this 2 years he played $65 million he got his payday for, and I think he literally played 2 games. I think one season he didn't play at all. The next season he played 2 games and he got like bought out or something like that or retired. I don't know, man, but this was the worst contract. This was that year where people were just throwing money at Luol, Mozgov. Who else was a man? I think Batum got his contract that season. Basically, if you wanted a player, you would just offer them like $100 million because you thought the salary cap was going up that much or something. And yeah, there was a lot of really bad deals that season, guys. It was atrocious. Okay, next we got Chandler Parsons from Memphis Grizzlies. Add him to the list. But I will say, though, the thing about Parsons is that he was pretty solid on the Houston Rockets. Another guy that was just a victim of bad injuries. I mean, you know, he could have been a solid. He really would probably be playing some power forward now these days, man. But I really think he would have been solid, if he would have stayed healthy. And it just wasn't the case, so that's unfortunate. Next up, Dion Waiters from Miami. He got a 4-year, $52 million contract. Okay, I would probably say Tyler Johnson's contract's worse than his because Dion Waiters, yes, he had off-the-court issues, but like when he was actually playing or was healthy, he's a good basketball player. Like, look at the Lakers, man. So, but yeah, obviously the contract's not great. Next up, we got Matthew Dellavedova from the Milwaukee Bucks, 4-year, $38 million. Yeah, he had like that one playoff series. Like pretty much Dellavedova, he had some decent moments in the NBA, but he was known as the Curry stopper. Like, that's who the Cavaliers tossed at Curry a lot, and that's kind of what he was known for. But didn't really do much once he left the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think he actually made his way back to the team, didn't he? I think he's on there right now. Probably not on a $38 million deal, but who knows? Maybe they'll make the same mistake twice. Nikola Pekovic, yeah, he was a pretty rough and tugged center out there. He had a decent season or two, but I think he actually had some bad injuries. He had to retire early, but he was actually pretty solid for a bit, man. Like, I thought they actually had something going on there with him. Then eventually, they had like Cat and everything, so it worked out nicely. So yeah. Out of the three Nikolas being, Pekovic, Vucevic, and Jokic, bro, they're all like 6'10" white dudes, man. Like, that is quite the coincidence. But yeah, he was definitely the worst of the three. No doubt. Okay. Next, oh yes, Solomon Hill. Next. Pelicans. Bad. Amir Sheik, I think this might have been the team also, man. Next. Okay, Joakim Noah, New York Knicks. Oh, yup. Just another case of the Knicks just overpaying for a name. Plain and simple, man. They see the name Joakim Noah. Yo, get this guy a $72 million contract. Former defensive player of the year. Hustle man out there. What they failed to realize is that he was no longer in his prime anymore, and he was coming off injuries. There you have it. Next up, Andre Roberson of the OKC Thunder. 3-year, $3 million. Okay, in all fairness, $10 million a season for a top perimeter defender in the NBA is not bad. Of course, he had some bad injuries. He's been kind of cooped up with Rachel Demita and stuff like that, but he's good to go now, man. I've seen him knock down some threes in the bubble, so who knows, man? You look at past that now, and $10 million for that's not bad. It could have been a lot worse. Okay, next up, oh yeah, we got bitch-ass contract Biombo, as I like to call him, man. Literally one good playoff series for the Toronto Raptors, and the Magic decided to throw literally the entire bank account at him, man. The accountants, everybody showed up that day to Bismack's house, and they were just, yes, man, here, take the bag, take it all, man, take my salary. Oh my God, it was horrible. Literally one good playoff series. Al Horford, yeah. Man, I have nothing against Al Horford. I think he's a great basketball player, had a great career. Another case of, just buying at a peak, man. I've been really into the stock market a lot lately, and it's like paying full price for Chuck E. Cheese. Like, Chuck E. Cheese in the past was cool, man. But then COVID and shit hit like that, man. And at the end of the day, nobody's really going to Chuck E. Cheese anymore. For a while, the people were going, man. It was the place to have a birthday party if you were a child. And now, kids play Fortnite and stuff. So that's what Al Horford is. He's basically Chuck E. Cheese. Once upon a time, man, you were the go-to. But now it's okay, well, you're paying full stock price for Chuck E. Cheese? Yes, sir. Next up, we got Brandon Knight, Phoenix Suns. Yeah, really Brandon Knight anywhere is a bad financial choice. It could be a minimum contract and you're not making the right choice. I say that as a Pistons fan, man. And you know what? I actually think this is the contract. Yeah, because he's on the last year. It's a 5-year deal. So this is the contract that led to my Detroit Pistons trading Andre Drummond literally just for Brandon Knight. This might be worse than Josh Smith for us if you think about it. Next up, we got Alan Crabb. Yes, and then I think I don't have it down correctly. I don't think, man. He was on the Nets first, right? And then he got a contract with the Trailblazers. But I think eventually he made it back to the Nets. I don't know where Alan Crabb's at these days. He's somewhere with $75 million, man. So get the wanted posters ready, man, because this dude literally stole from the franchise. Okay, but that's the thing, is it's he was a decent perimeter shooter. You just don't pay $75 million for decent. Okay, next we got Zach Randolph for the Sacramento Kings, 2 years, $24 million. Yeah, he was an old head at that point. Tiago Splitter for the Spurs, 4 years, $36 million. Yeah, this is unfortunately, Greg Popovich, because Greg Popovich, legendary coach, man, might be the greatest coach of all time. Top 2, top 3 for sure. but his, he kind of has like that old man mentality, that conservative mentality, where it's just like he just is not going to go beyond his ways. The NBA shifted, and yeah, he was still paying $36 million to centers that are like Tiago Splitter, unfortunately speaking. Okay, next up, we got DeMarre Carroll for the Raptors, 4 years, $60 million. Yeah, he kind of find himself on quite a few teams out there. Still a really solid role player. Although I don't say that confidently because I have no idea where he's at these days. He's not on the Heat, is he? I don't think he's on the Heat. Where is DeMarre Carroll at these days, guys? I don't know, man. We got Ed Davis with Utah Jazz, 2 years, $9.7 million. Not a bad contract at all. The reason I say that is because this man literally was like leading the NBA in rebounds off the bench, which is a big time stat to have out there. Another guy that had bad injuries. Doesn't make the contract bad. I hate to say it, but I mean, I would say maybe Rudy Gobert. Just because I don't feel like, Rudy Gobert could be your top 1 or 2 player on your team to win a championship. I don't think it's going to happen out there, man. It's just my thoughts where the NBA is at these days. Or also, what's the one dude's name? The point guard. You guys know who I'm talking about. 6'8" dude or 6'6" dude from Australia, I believe. I can't remember his name, man. But Dante Exum, yes. I think he got quite a payday too, and he didn't do anything, but once again had bad injuries. And then last, but certainly not least, but kinda, the Washington Wizards with John Wall, $407 million. I mean, John Wall was a top point guard in the NBA, quicks with the basketball out there, playmaking was off the charts. I think he had like a bad injury, and then he like fell down at his house or something like that and injured himself again. So more so just bad luck than anything, guys. But that is the end of this video. Do you guys agree with these? Disagree? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.